for 1,000 cubic meters of gas, up from the discounted price of $268.50. In December, Russia agreed to offer Ukraine a quarterly discount in gas exports, along with its financial bailout offer. With Ukraine's then President Viktor Yanukovych now deposed and Crimea annexed to Russia, that discount is off the table. Gazprom CEO has justified the price increase. The company claims Ukraine owes it $1.7 billion in unpaid gas bills. This latest development will likely place a weak economy under further pressure, hitting households the hardest.
Currently, Ukrainian economy is not doing very well, and of course, given that the country depends heavily on Russian gas, price increases are going to affect the country quite dramatically. But I think this could be a condition for receivership of foreign financial aid.
Ukraine's parliament has already approved a 50% increase in the price of gas from the 1st of May. Utility companies are also set to see a 40% increase in tariffs from the 1st of July, costs likely to be passed on to consumers. Ukraine has been promised a bailout package of $27 billion from international partners. This includes $14 to $18 billion from the IMF, and it's expected to cushion the latest blow to the country's economy. Ukraine has been working on ways to cut its dependence on Russian gas, which currently meets over half its consumption.
Now, we're still waiting for the exact makeup of the next French government. We know that it'll be led by Prime Minister Manuel Valls, but we don't know who his ministers will be. In particular, for us here in business, we're wondering, of course, who the next finance minister will be. But the economic challenges ahead are already mounting. The head of the Eurogroup has said that France must stick to its pledge to cut down its budget deficit. Jeroen Dijsselbloem spoke in connection to a meeting of Eurozone finance ministers in Greece. France is under pressure to bring down the deficit to 3% of GDP by 2015, but there are warnings it'll be difficult without more radical action.
I think that France is well aware of its commitments. They have already been given more time, as a matter of fact 2 years, and work is obviously still to be done, and I'm sure that the new French cabinet will be aware of its obligations to the Growth and Stability Pact.
Now, Dijsselbloem and other finance ministers also approved of another loan tranche to Greece when they met in Athens. They came together as a batch of data painted a clearer picture of the Eurozone's recovery. Unemployment in the Eurozone held steady in February at 11.9%. The European Union Statistics Service says the rate has been stable since October last year, and it's marginally lower than in February 2013. But it highlights that hiring is not getting off the ground in a spectacular fashion in the 18 countries that use the euro. There are still stark differences between North and South as well, with Austria and Germany seeing the lowest unemployment rates, as you can see right here. France is close to the Eurozone average. Spain and Greece, meanwhile, are still suffering from the highest jobless rates, well above 25%. Meanwhile, the private sector in the Eurozone continued to grow for a 9th consecutive month in March. A measure of private sector activity from research firm Market came in at 53. That's a slight slowdown from February, but the reading is still above the 50 threshold that signals that the private sector is growing. Now, all of that data was seen to help European shares into positive territory on Tuesday. The CAC 40 here in Paris, for instance, closed at its highest levels since September 2008, with car shares in particular heading higher on the news of higher car sales during the month of March in France. As you can see right here, the Paris CAC 40 up 0.8%. In the United States this hour, we're also seeing stocks trading to the upside. A real pop there for the Nasdaq, the tech-heavy index up 1.25%, with the focus being very much on the manufacturing sector after we got through some pretty strong-looking manufacturing figures there from the US economy. And with that, I'm going to wrap up this business update. I'll be back again in around about an hour, Melissa, with more headlines.
Lovely to hear from you. Thank you very much indeed, Marcus Cost. And look there at business. We're going to have a listen now to what's going on in the world of sports. Katie Van Gorstani is here. Hello.
Hi.
We start with football and the Champions League quarterfinals kicking off in about 2 hours' time.
About an hour now, actually, and 2 games up tonight. Defending champions Bayern Munich facing Manchester United. The Germans, of course, favorites on paper, but Man U aren't giving up. Here's a preview of tonight's matchup.
Champions League is back this evening. The defending champions Bayern Munich travel to Manchester United. The Bavarians are unbeaten in the league this season and have already clinched the Bundesliga title in record-breaking time. They're without Spanish midfielder Thiago, but start favourites. The manager Pep Guardiola still believes Manchester United can spring an upset.